Scott and I are going to try something new today. I don't know how well this is going to work out, but we're going to try it. You probably need to mute your speakers because the last thing we need to do is it to cause a feedback loop.
Okay.
We're going to try this. I don't know why it's just dawned on me, but we're going to add Scotty, even though he's sitting next to me, so you guys can, when he talks, hear him talk better, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Actually, let me mute myself too, because you don't need to hear.
But why are you muting yourself? You gotta be able to speak.
No. Sorry. I just need to turn down my speakers so it doesn't come back out. Hi, Micah. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Michelle. I just read your email. I haven't looked at Instagram recently. I did not see anything sent to me with the picture of your wall decal. I will check, but is there any chance you could send it to me again? I would really love to see it. I don't remember seeing it recently. Anyways, happy Sunday, all. How was your guys' week this week? Did you do anything fun? How was your carnivore, keto, all of this? Did you stumble at all? Hopefully you guys watched my, was it Tuesday, Scott? Tuesday video?
Yeah, your
Wednesday,
elements. Release Wednesday the element.
Wednesday video. It's all about forgiving ourselves. Scott and I worked really hard trying to come up with a thumbnail, y'all. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes titling my videos and thumbnails are sometimes the most difficult part, not even doing the video. But if you haven't watched it, I hope you do.
Are you actually seeing me? There we go.
We are now. You have yourself muted, though, so you probably need to unmute yourself on your laptop. It says you're muted.
Okay.
Y'all will have to tell us if there's any feedback on your end, because we're sitting right next to each other. So please do let me know before it just blares anybody's ears out if it's feeding back, because we have two microphones in the same room. Anywho, hi Katie, hi Karen, Dal, Star, Carol, Colleen, Jessica, Jan. Hello, Echo. Yes, it is echoing. So we're going to turn this off.
Okay.
We may have to just try this one day, kicking him into the basement. That might be the thing to do.
I have no problem being a basement troll.
Hopefully you can still hear him and seeing his lips move, and we'll see how it goes. We'll send him and Ryu down to be the
I'm
basement.
just a puppet. Amanda's got her, she's just making me talk. No, we're not going to go there. I started that. We got to stop it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Jessica said she can hear you just fine through my mic. Okay.
I can't moderate right now. I can't remove comments or pause them or anything.
You'll have to go, just probably minimize that screen to go to the way you normally do it.
Let's see if I can go this way.
Y'all, this is a big experiment for us. I just thought of this 2 seconds before the live started, so it's going to be a little bit bumpy while we try to figure this out.
Okay, I'm good. Actually, I think in YouTube I can actually.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out different layouts and things like that. Ooh. Okay, we'll just keep there. Anywho, all right, y'all, let's get started. How's your guys' week been? This week for us it's been good. I hurt my back. What day was that?
Leaf day.
Leaf day?
Yeah, when we did a bunch of leaves.
Yeah, but Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't know. Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, probably Tuesday. We were picking up leaves in the backyard, and I got a message, so I want to clarify. I don't pick up leaves to not pick up dog poop. I pick up leaves so I can pick up dog poop and not step in it. We pick up all the leaves in the backyard because it's mulch and it's so light, I can't just blower it when it's wet. Anyways, that evening, Scott calls it scope creep. And I guess what he means is because you're focused in on doing a task, and the scope creep is your tasks get bigger. We started with the leaves. Then what happened?
No. we started with, let's go get something at the store. And then
Okay.
you're like, oh, it's going to rain soon. So we should do the leaves.
We should pick the leaves
And
up
then-
in the front yard.
Then I'm like, wait, well, we're going to try to make a home gym. And so, well, we should clean the garage.
Yeah, that was your own fault because I got the leaf blower out to blow the leaves out of the front yard so we could rake them up. And then Scott's like, well, you might as well blow the garage out. I'm like, oh,
I did not say
yeah.
that.
You did too. I was like, oh, yeah, let's blow the garage out. So we blew the garage out. And then I started sweeping. And then I realized, God, there's so many cobwebs in here. And Scott and I are in the process. And I will share pictures and video with you guys of creating our own home gym. I realized a barrier for me for being consistently weightlifting and stuff is I hate going to the gym. I know it sounds stupid, but I don't get the benefit of being around other people. Like some other people are like doing exercise classes. I don't. Having to get dressed, get ready, get in the car while it's cold, be freezing, go downstairs, go up 3 flights of stairs, then get to the gym. I lose the desire very quickly to do anything. So we're making our own home gym right now.
Scope creep happened yesterday.
Well, hold on. We didn't finish the story of the other one.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. So then it became blowing the garage out, sweeping the garage out. And then I decided to get a bucket of water with soap and poured it all on the ground on the inside. And then I was using the broom to mop the garage floor. And then, of course, we had to squeegee the water out of the garage. And by the end of that,
Well, we had to uncoil the hose that we had stored for winter.
Anyways, by the end of that, I had pinched a nerve in the left side of my back. Scott had to get me, it was so bad, he actually had to get me the cane because I couldn't bear weight on my left leg. I don't know exactly what did it that day, but anywho, yeah, so here we are. That lasted about 2.5 days. I had to use the cane to get around because I just couldn't, literally, my leg almost gave out on me from the nerve being pinched. It's all fine though. And then we did scope creep again yesterday. We were prepping for, got in the garage. You guys just want to hear about my entire life story, right? Around this creating.
Right. So we have a morning coffee, we're relaxing a little bit. And then she's like, what do you want to do today? You want to play some games? And normally I'm like, yes, let's play some games. I was like, I want to kind of get some things done. It's going to be raining really hard the next couple of days. Maybe this is the good time to go get those horse mats because they're big and they're heavy. It's some work. And we're supposed to just go get them. But then she's like, well, we should really clean the garage better and reorganize some stuff. Well, we just cleaned the garage a few days before. So I'm like, I don't understand. 3 hours later, we reorganized the garage, cleaned it again, even more thorough, and then we go get the horse mats. And instead of just getting them and then worrying about laying them down and setting them up,
horse mats are 94 pounds each, by the way. Each. Yeah. We have 8. We bought 8 of them
to make our gym area. So then yesterday it was scraping off all the excess rubber and cleaning both sides and vacuuming again because all this loose rubber everywhere. And moving them around and laying them out and reorganizing them, making sure no over here, get this right, okay, everything's squared away. Yeah, by 5 o'clock, I was like, I'm done. I'm tired.
We were supposed to move the elliptical out in the garage, and he had checked out and said he would done.
I was like, from 10 o'clock to let's go get mats to 4 o'clock, we haven't eaten anything. We got to get some leftovers going.
We ended up having
scope creep.
We ended up having barbecue from our favorite barbecue place here. Sherry knows what we're talking about. Okay, enough of our life story about how making the gym. Yes. Word vendor. I have to restart. I need to prepare. So hard to eat and eat at work. Hate reheated meat. Any suggestions? There are one. I hate microwaved meat. I'm with you. I am 100% with you. Ugh. What you could try is they have these like little plug-in, like almost look like lunch boxes. You plug them in, and they slowly for a few hours warm your food up. I would try that. There are a few things that I do just fine reheated. Taco meat does perfectly fine for me, and I eat it with sour cream and pork rinds or the Carnivore crisp chicken breast. I haven't had much coffee today. Carnivore crisp chicken breast chips. I love those. Chuck roast. It reheats so well, not in the microwave, but try that little pluggable lunch box thing. From what I understand, it works perfectly, and there's different sizes you can get. What else do you have suggestions for if they don't?
Reheating it works.
Yeah, where they don't like, because I don't like
a lot of
reheated.
works don't like toaster ovens.
You could ask them.
Yeah, you could try to get a toaster oven because that'll heat it real good.
But it's the microwaving that is. I feel like it changes the meat. Steak, excuse me. If you do steak, don't heat it all the way up. Heat it to lukewarm. That makes it taste so much better, y'all. I cannot stand unless it's put back on the grill. Just slightly lukewarm. You could ask them about a hot plate if you could use a hot plate. That because then you could use a little pan and warm it up. What else? You could do something like a heavy breakfast, heavy dinner, skip lunch, if that's even a reasonable thing to say. But those would be my suggestions. You could do, something I would do to make it easier is probably just eat some meat sticks and cheese at work and call it good. Like do just like a super light lunch. I probably would do that.
Something that you don't reheat.
The kielbasa sausages, I would grill them first, but those would warm up really nicely, even if you had to microwave them.
But you can't get them right now.
Well,
they're seasonal.
Well, if they could find other brands.
Well, their
beef sausage
and cheddar is seasonal. However, the
grass-fed is not.
Kielbasa, or you can get those off their website.
Oh, I did see one question.
I saw a couple of questions.
I've been real slow. Jan, I don't know where your question went, but you said you ate a potato at dinner time. I did see that. You know what? Here's my thing. When stuff like that happens, it's like you ate a potato. You didn't eat an entire cheesecake or carrot cake. You ate a potato. So to me, that's kudos. You ate a potato. That was it. Compared to what you could have eaten, Kit Kats, Snickers, a whole bag of Oreos, a potato. I think that's pretty much, here it was, pretty much a win in my eyes. Dalstar, how do you get back on track? It's gotten too easy to get off plan. Favorite seasonal ice cream on sale. 1, you have to go to the freezer section to know, Dale, that ice cream's on sale. Don't go down that aisle anymore. There is nothing you need. And you know what I say to people, and this, I know it's easy because Scott and I both do carnivore, but if you have family in your house and they aren't doing carnivore, completely fair, understandable. It's up to them to make the choice. However, if you're the grocery buyer, you do not have to buy them ice cream. You do not have to buy them ice cream. I think transitioning away from the processed foods, if you see processed foods as toxic, why let your kids and family have it if you buy the groceries? Go buy fruits and vegetables and meats and stuff. I'm not saying force them to do carnivore or anything like that, but don't buy that stuff. It makes it harder on you and it's unhealthy for them. But let's get back to getting back on track. I got away from that.
Okay.
Sorry. Read. Oh, you left it right here.
Right there.
Go to the store today and pick up this book. Go to the store today and pick up this book. There are exercises at the end of each chapter. Do them. That will get you back on track quickly. It helps you identify the habits you want to create, the habits you want to get rid of. And let me tell you something. Something that I've come to realize is how I got 360 pounds. How I got there was tiny little habits that built up over years and decades of eating bad, using food as emotional support. Then how do we get out of it? By tiny habits, changing those slowly, not like this rapid rip the Band-Aid off. It's going to change forever. This is why every time I've ever done a diet, whether I've been successful for 6 months, let's say, I lost a lot of weight for 6 months, at the end of the 6 months, the weight starts coming back and creeping back up because I never actually changed the habits that got me there. So read tiny habits. And last suggestion, if you have that seasonal ice cream in your house, go throw it away right now. Go open that lid up, stick it in the sink, put some hot water in it, rinse it down the sink because you probably don't want ice cream in your trash can. You've got the bad stuff. Get rid of it. Anything you want to add, Scott?
Yeah. Wednesday's video was about feeding the guilt monster. A lot of people.
Yeah, go watch Wednesday's video. I forgot what we called it.
Yeah. We named it a couple different things.
We kept changing the name. It's called, the thumbnail is I Ate Carbs, though.
Yeah. The point is that a lot of people, when they start to eat off plan, which I don't know about that wording, you're just not eating carnivore. That's fine. It's not off plan. It's eating carbs. You start to attach a meaning to it. You're a bad person. Like, I didn't eat carnivore. I'm a terrible person. And then you just start eating more and more non-carnivore. And instead of attaching meaning, just say, well, I wasn't as healthy as I was Thursday, Thanksgiving. I'll be healthy now. Letting go of that and not making yourself feel guilty, because what happens is every time you start eating not the way that you intend to, then you start feeling more and more guilt. And if you can let go of that and then just be at peace, okay, I made that choice. I'm going to make a new choice today, and I'm going to start eating healthy. That makes it easier.
Yeah. One choice, one vote casting away from the type of person you want to be isn't a landslide win. But the problem is our brains like to spiral out of control with shame and guilt. So watch the I Ate Carbs video, Atomic Habits, and throw that stuff away. That's it. Those are the things to start with. All right. Christopher, I don't have time to go to the gym. I picked up some adjustable dumbbells on Black Friday deal that I've been eyeing up for months. See, you know how much time, I know this sounds super dumb, but I swear we lose at least 30 to 40 minutes a day in travel time, prep time, going to and from the gym. I think that's perfect. Something else, Christopher, I bought off Amazon that was pretty cheap were some resistance bands. These are for assisted pull-ups and stuff, but that would be another good option too for you. Cheap, don't need space for it kind of thing. Tabby recently got back to carnivore after falling off a lot. Congrats. I mean, kudos for getting up every time you fell. Seriously. Yeah. I want to be more realistic this time and sustainable. Will consuming 1 tablespoon of maple syrup in my coffee 1 time a day ruin carnivore for me? It's not going to ruin anything. Will it slow you down? I would strongly suggest against it. And the reason is because 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, that's a big dose of sugar. You're going to have, if your body's like mine, I can not have more than 10 grams of carbs a day, or I get kicked out of ketosis. It's just the way my body is. It will want you continuing to want the sweet stuff. I would suggest 90 days. Try to make it 90 days without any sugar taste in your mouth. Substitutes, what do you think? I would suggest if you feel like you have to have something I'm not a big proponent of artificial sweeteners or things like that, but stevia might be a better option because at least you're not getting the carbs from it. You still have to have the sweet taste from it. So doing something like stevia in the coffee. There's these drinks called Zevia, and Scott actually likes them. We don't drink them very often. They are like a soda with stevia. I'm getting them mixed up. Stevia in it, and that's like a go-to if you just have a hankering that won't quit. What else? What do you think, honey?
I don't know. My transition was, so I used to drink an entire pot of coffee, maybe another half pot of coffee a day. I have my own coffee maker at my work desk, and out of the mini refrigerator, I'd have these large French vanilla coffee mate heavy creams. Not heavy creams, just flavored lots of
coffee creamer.
Drank it all the time. The transition away is well, sugar is not good, so I would go to sweet heavy cream or sweet cream, and then I went to just heavy cream, no sugar, and then now I just use butter. So it was a step down for me that I had to step away from how sweet it tasted. And now coffee is just something that I enjoy, something that's hot, that tastes good, and actually the fat from the butter in the coffee really helps satiate any cravings. That's maybe the best I can suggest. But if you're needing a sugar kind of sweet tooth.
Another suggestion is, okay, let's say you start carnivore today, start today. Start with a week of doing your maple syrup. Then next week, do 3 quarters. of a tablespoon. And then the week after, do half. And then the week after, do a fourth, and then an eighth, and then nothing. Like, take 5 weeks to get from stepping yourself down. So it's not such a shock of, I have some, but I can't have any, to, okay, my taste can adjust as I step down, or, however you want to kind of break it up, but set a plan. That would be if you absolutely, like, you can't do stevia or anything, because I'm going to be honest, I can't have it more than once in a blue moon, or my tum-tum gets, like, once or twice a week is the maximum I can do, and I usually get it from the element that I drink, because I sometimes throw in the flavored elements every once in a while. Those are my suggestions. Also, y'all are going to hear me say this 1,000 times. Go pick this book up. Tiny Habits. God, I wish I had started this book when we started it. It walks you through the exercises of how to actually create the tiny habits versus just saying, hey, you should create them, your life would be better. This actually works through the entire book, through actually generating tiny habits that work for you in your life. What I need for tiny habits in my life may not be what you need for tiny habits in yours, but this makes it more realistic. How do we lose weight? 1 pound at a time, not 100 pounds at a time. It is a slow process of creating tiny habits that help sustain us and keep us on our journey, not gaining weight back and then plus more, because we never actually dealt with our habits. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's been a convenient excuse, but it started a trend. Scott is actually, we had this conversation, he's actually pretty bitter about Thanksgiving and stuff, because it's
birthdays, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, anniversaries, like pretty much any event that is like, well, let's have a special meal, and we go out and eat, and then even we just have a little bit, that's a little bit of carbs, a little bit of celebrated. We have birthdays in the September.
We have my birthdays in September, my brother's and my brother-in-law's.
Yeah. So we had like 3 birthdays in September, and then for birthdays, we're all together, the whole family. There's like 9 of us because we had another family there. Get a little cake, and it just starts this process of like, well, a little bit of cake, and then there's something
a little bit of this, a little bit that,
and then what happens is that ultimately it kicks us out of ketosis. So we're in a nice steady state ketosis, and then we get kicked out of it, and then it's getting the habit back together of we're just going to eat carnivore, and we stay in ketosis, and we stay with that energy level. Because what happens when you get kicked out of ketosis and you've been in a good carnivore habit, then you start having these energy drains, and you're not as focused.
You get real grumpy when you go back.
Yes.
Scott wants to live on another planet for about a week.
So, like, I noticed that we always have this, like, we do really good for like a month, and then some event comes up, and we like a little bit off, and all of a sudden, like, 5 days, and like, oh my God, we have had too many carbs.
Thanksgiving, and he's mostly bitter about Thanksgiving because I did amazing for an entire month.
Like all November, we're like just totally.
I lost a few pounds every single week consistently, and then Thanksgiving happened, and it's just like boom, out of ketosis, and it's like a week battle just to get back. Right.
So that's a week of no weight loss, and then it's going to be another week of really getting into ketosis where we're losing weight, and then so it's like we just lost 2 weeks, and we maybe lost 1 pound, and so for those people that kind of like, Amanda, you haven't really lost a lot of weight in the last 6 months. Well, that's kind of why.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have Rosie die, and that was a huge thing for both of us. And that happens. That's just part of life. But if you look at the habits that we have, that's kind of why. We just keep running into that. We lose a bit more, and then, me too. I actually need to lose some too.
Like 3 pounds, anyway, but it's all in your stomach.
I'm sorry, I'm preaching, but, I want you to look at that as an example for you. 1, don't quit. 2, no matter what mistakes you made, you can get back on it. It's just a journey. And 3, try to look at your life, and if you're not meeting your goals and you're not going where you want to do, what habits do you have in place? What things are you allowing to happen repetitively that you're not getting where you want to go?
By the way, I make literally no money off of recommending this book. I just love it so much. I just have to throw that out there. Jan, what do you do with the horse mats? The horse mats are to protect the cement, because when you do Olympic weightlifting, some of the lifts you do, you pick up the weight. Lord of mercy, coffee cup everywhere. You literally just drop the bar and it'll damage the concrete floor and it'll damage the weights. So it's a 3/4 inch mat that absorbs the impact of dropping the weight. I do not. My sister has a horse. I do not. We just use it for the floor in the garage so we can drop the mats down or the weights down and not. Jessica, microwave power level 4 for 2 minutes and it came out fabulous.
That makes sense. A little bit lower power, slower cook.
I don't know anything about microwave power. I know how to do 1 minute, 30 seconds, start, done. Like, I mean, I probably could figure it out, but
everybody always microwaves at 100% power.
I guess that's just always what it's set at. Nancy, I have hard-boiled eggs at work. Yeah, you could do deviled eggs. You could, if you're going to do like ketovore, something I really love is tuna salad. But I'd use dill relish in it and make your own mayo. That would be something cold to eat. You could do egg salad. I don't really like eggs, so I'm not 100% sure what goes in that, but I know there's eggs in it. Dale, do you have your chuck roast recipe available? Yes, I put it out yesterday. I got up.
Finally.
And you know what's so funny is literally last night, the night before last, I went to go get the chuck roast. I took it out, blended it up, and then I looked at Scott. I'm like, holy crap, we forgot to record it again. So I actually had to put the meat back in the pot, let the juice unemulsify, and then recorded it because I forgot again. It's just so quick.
Good. We're just like ready to eat it because you've been planning on eating it for 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Someone did make the comment about you should braise it. And most of you probably know what braising is, where you can sear it high heat and it seals the edges. You could do that. It would taste slightly better. But let me tell you something. That's going to add 15 to 20 minutes of prep time, and it's going to add 20 minutes of cleanup because all the grease that's going to pop everywhere. So follow the recipe to the T if you want easy. If you want it to taste even just slightly better, then you could braise it and then follow the same exact steps. All right. So true. I haven't gone off for 5 months until now, and it's just me. Life happens. We are not perfect, and you know what? We didn't get where we got overnight, and so we're not going to get to perfection. And it's just forgiving ourselves. We stumbled. We're human. There's not a single perfect human on this planet. And I will tell you, other than maybe a few people, and I don't know them personally or anything, and there has not been one single perfect person that I've ever met on this journey. There is one gentleman, I cannot remember his name, that he said he hasn't had cheats, and I'm not going to question anything he says. But for the most part, him aside, for the most part, we fall and stumble. Most people just don't admit it. That's just it. But you know what? It's like anything. Mold likes to grow in the dark. These things that we're ashamed of and guilt, they like to grow in the dark. They hide in the inner part of us and they don't want us to talk about them. But if you bring it out to the light, it cleanses it. How many times have you done something and you just admitting it? It's like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better just admitting it. Angela, I'm starting my transition to carnivore. Congrats. Welcome to the family. And you know what? I'm super proud that you're transitioning because I think you'll do much better if you transition and don't just jump in if you can do it. It's a little bit.
Take a moment to go to her website. The beginner's guide is on her website. So that's a video we did a while back that's fixed so you can always find it. It's very important to understand what you're getting into when you do the transition, what to expect.
Micah, the browned butter. I actually have a recipe on YouTube on the browned butter. Most of my recipe videos, y'all, I try to make them short, sweet, and to the point because most of the videos, if I'm going for a recipe video, give me like 5 minutes or less. Anyways, brown butter, that is how you make it. It's really good. That is pretty much you brown the milk solids in the butter and you do not burn them. You brown them. And then I put them in little like chocolate molds and then you can just put them in the refrigerator, take bites. They're delicious. You can cook with them.
You can flavor them with vanilla extract or lemon or I'm trying chocolate powder. It wasn't great.
Oh, the cocoa powder.
Cocoa
We did
powder.
try the cocoa powder. Your dad doesn't like the don't buy ice cream comment. That's Jan. Jan, I feel so stupid. I literally just looked at the picture.
Hi, Jan.
I'm trying.
Sorry.
Your dad. Y'all, this is my dad's girlfriend. I just put 2 and 2 together. She's been transitioning to carnivore. Now I'm curious. He's wanting the ice cream, not you. Tell him he doesn't need the ice cream. He needs
to shop him for him and tell him he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah,
kind of
or make him go to the grocery store himself so he has to walk more. How funny. Dale, just lost 70 pounds in 6 months. I will get rid of it now. Do it. You can do it. That's so funny. The dad comment to get it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you know what, Angela? I'm even proud too to say that you're doing it before the January 1st, because a lot of people do like, I'm going to do it January 1st. But why not now? Why not now and avoid all the feeling bad? Scott and I are seriously contemplating, because I'm pretty sure my sister's mother-in-law is going to be in town for Christmas. We're thinking about just doing like Christmas breakfast with the family, because my niece, and then not doing a Christmas dinner. Just not even, like, Scott and I will do ribeye or something like that, and not even dealing with, because he's so bitter about just the bad food, because Scott and I are the only ones that are doing carnivore here. My family does eat a lot of meat, but yeah. Laura Spath taught me something great about separating the eye from the chuck roast and making chuck eye steak. Great video. Nice. I like just chucking that whole sucker in there, but I'm lazy. We like easy. There were, if you're Sherry still here, Fred Meyer's has chuck steak on sale. Buy one, get one free. That is Kroger's. I don't know how that translate across the country though. Yeah, feeling very guilty might end up in a binge. Letting go helps. Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's like this downward spiral of things just fall apart. Hi, Keto Simple. You know what? Life happens. That is okay. Welcome, welcome. Mary, started this week, lost 5 pounds already. I do eat 3 eggs and 6 pieces of bacon right now. I have over 120 pounds to lose. Too much? Nah. As long as you're eating to hunger, not eating just to eat, you fine. Like, you're losing weight. The thing I think to start in the beginning of the journey is start asking, are you eating to feel the sensation of fullness, or are you eating because you actually need the food? So after I eat about half of what I've eaten, I start asking myself, do I need this bite? Do I need it? Like, it just becomes kind of like an innate sense of like, okay, I'm done. Because a lot of times in the morning, I'll have 2 eggs and 1 piece of bacon. Scott gives me 2, but most of the time I'm just like, I don't need it. And so I pass it on. But it's a skill and a habit you'll develop as you go. So you're doing just fine.
Amanda did a video about it that specifically, actually, I think it's titled Eating Too Much.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to her YouTube and search videos, I'm going to go there right now.
Scott's gonna.
Yes, the actual thumbnail is Eating Too Much. The title is Hunger on Carnivore. So search for hunger.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to find it. And the reason why, like I mentioned in that video, it talks a lot about learning how to eat to what your body needs. Mm-hmm. Because one of the things in our society is that we eat all the time because just food is so plentiful and available, versus listening to what our body needs for energy to sustain us. So it's a very important thing to learn about hunger. The other thing she mentions is salt rocks and bridge drinks, which are also good ways to get you through a little bit of hunger.
My salt rocks downstairs.
So you can only have carnivore stuff when you need to.
Yeah, it's actually an excellent video because what you need may not be what I need for food intake. And also, let's say you're super active one day, you might need to eat more energy that day, but you're very sedentary the next, and you don't need as much energy. So, learning what the signals for your body are about how much you should eat versus just having a set regimen, I think is a really important thing to learn. Excuse me. So, Scott eats more than I do. Even though I'm heavier than him, he eats more than I do.
Yeah, I have 4 pieces of bacon and 4 eggs every morning.
I have 2 pieces of bacon. I'm sorry, I have 1 piece of bacon and 2 eggs, and that's what I eat for breakfast. And I'm fine until dinner time. Spirit, yeah, making the brown butter bites. Scott really likes when I make them because then he uses butter in his coffee. The reason I use heavy cream, he uses butter, is we discovered liquid dairy makes him have to clear his throat. Clear his throat all the time, and now that he uses butter, I don't want to strangle him from clearing his throat all day long.
9 years of that she's been dealing with that, and then we discovered this, and it's like, okay, well, I'm allergic to liquid dairy.
Yeah, I don't know about allergic, but you react to it.
React.
Yeah. Also, someone mentioned recently to me to add a tiny bit of salt to coffee, takes the bitterness out. It works. I like using if I'm going to do something special, the chocolate element. I do like a third of a package because the cups are so small and you have the salt with the chocolate flavoring. Yes. My sister-in-law swears by using baking powder.
Probably baking soda.
I think it was powder. Just a pinch of it. I don't know. Have you guys, any of you tried that? I'd be curious to know.
Somebody mentioned that we should swap. So, like when we look at each other, like I look the wrong way and then you look the other way.
That makes sense. Susan, you a genius. Probably should just stop looking at him and look at the thing, but it's just.
I mean, I could also sit over there and then,
Yeah. We might change our setup where Scott and I are sitting like Dr. B and Nisha where they're on the same screen. This was just a last minute decision to try this out.
We love this room. It's nice and
cozy. It is. This is our reading room. It's where I read all my books and stuff. So
we sit and talk about videos and what we want to do and plan our day and figure out what we need to get done.
Yeah. Buying Tiny Habits. Yes. Jan, if you're still here, have Dad read it too. It's such a good book. It is such a good book. Hi, Scott. I got the most amazing support on Discord last night. Were you on Discord last night?
I wasn't on Discord last night. It could have been another Scott. There's actually quite a few people that are active on Discord.
Yeah. Oh, if you guys want a free supportive community, the Discord, we have a Carnivorous Me Discord. You literally just go to carnivorousme.com and there is a little link kind of a little bit down on the page that is blue background with a white remote control. Click on that and it will take you to the Discord server. You do have to make a login. It is free, but I have recipes. We have there's over 600 people on that Discord server. It's actually where we do book club too every Thursday, but you can if you have questions, concerns, you need help. I'm active in there. Scott's active sometimes in there.
Okay, so this is where our brother-in-law Buck says I'm a boomer and he remembers my age. I turned 51 a week ago, and I will call because I want an immediate answer and ask one question. It's like that's the only time he remembers how old I am because I'm like only boomers call. I'm like don't just text me. I'm like no, I want to call.
Well, you're not old enough to be a boomer, but that's what he said.
I'm not old enough to be a boomer, but that's I don't quite get that. It's a logical response. Call to get one specific answer immediately.
And versus texting. So then I told Scott what Buck said because it wasn't meant in any meanness at all. It was just I was like, you know what? That is right. So then the next few days I've had Buck probably will never watch this, but I've had Scott call him just to ask a question and hang up just to pester him. So the next day I was like, just call him and ask him how he's doing. So he calls me. He's like, hello. And Scott's like, oh, I was just calling, we missed you on poker. He's like, just calling to see how you're doing. He's like, I'm fine. And Scott's like, okay, thanks. Click. And then I don't know if he's caught on that we've been doing it almost every day so far.
Anyways, that's why I'm not in Discord a whole lot. Like, if I want to talk to somebody, I want to talk to them over the phone, face to face, something like that. I'm not very good about texting communication.
Mm-hmm.
But other people are more welcome. Discord is great. There's a lot of great people there.
Yeah. Hey, Sherry, when are we going to do another bike ride, sister? Go further than we did last time when it's not raining. I don't count my bacon in pieces. I count my bacon in packages. That's funny. Scott probably does too.
We found a huge sale. 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, about like 11 packages of bacon.
Yeah, at the grocery store, because I don't like the Costco bacon. It's very, very dry. There isn't a lot of fat on it. Yeah. It's super dry. And I told Scott, I realized that's why I don't like eating it that much. So this Hill brand of bacon, whatever it is, I like it a lot more. At the moment, I'm eating more than I have to because I have cravings, and I think that's completely fine. If you are having cravings and you choose to go to a piece of meat, don't shame yourself. It's a piece of meat than a package of Oreos. Like it, in being aware that you are, I think that is a really good step in the right way too. So what? You don't lose any weight that week. Who cares? You didn't gain weight. Like, I mean, it's a big thing.
Not only that, So Atomic Habits is another book we really, really like. And it talks about your identity. Your identity is like what you believe about yourself and how you view yourself. And what happens is over time, the habits that you do will help shape your identity. And you're like, well, I am a hard worker because you go to work on time every day and you never miss work. Things like that. So if you start eating off carnivore, then you're like, well, I'm not a carnivore. Or if you start eating on carnivore, then you're like, oh, I'm a carnivore. So when those temptations come up that, okay, I want to have a bag of chips or whatever, you're like, no, I'm carnivore. And it's easier to say no. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is over time, you build evidence for who you are by your actions. And it can go both ways. And this is kind of what I was saying about earlier, that we have these events that kind of seem to happen every month or two, in which we eat off a little bit and we eat off more, and then we start to believe like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person because we've had a few bit of carbs in a few days in a row, and that's really, our identity is starting to revert to we're bad people because we're not eating healthy. That's another good book I really recommend is Atomic Habits, because seeing how you view yourself takes a little bit of self-reflection. I strongly recommend that you write some things about what you believe about yourself, and then use the tiny habits to intentionally build habits that you can start believing in yourself the way you want to.
Yeah. And I will tell you, for me, this book has helped more than I could ever believe. It had you write a sticky note. Do you have yours? I don't know if anybody's going to overread it. Mine's downstairs on the refrigerator. It says, I change best by feeling good, not feeling bad. There is an entire chapter here, honey. There's an entire chapter in the book about celebrating the small wins. Well, actually all of the wins. And if I think back about all the good habits I've developed and things that I've done, I have silently praised myself in whatever way it was to help reinforce a behavior. We eat bad, we binge eat and things like this because it's a self-reinforcing behavior, because we get a hit of dopamine, we get serotonin, and we feel good. Even if it's for a brief second, we get that, what we're seeking from it. There's lots of dog earthquakes happening over here from a big old black coonhound. Yeah. Had some weird bacon cut twice the thickness. Sometimes they are little strange cuts, bacon. Tracy, since I started carnivore, I find I feel cold, very cold, and can't seem to get warm. I need to get moving in order to warm up. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I have a blanket. When I sit down, like my right hand is freezing right now, moving more. And part of it is because when you are heavier, it takes more energy. Your body creates more heat energy, or heat from breaking down the energy to move the mass around. And so you're a lot warmer when you're heavier, and then you start losing weight. Well, the body doesn't have all of that insulation, and it doesn't generate as much heat as you're normally used to. Moving more. That's the answer, is literally just move around more. I found instead of sitting at the computer, standing is just enough that I'm standing and it keeps me warmer. All right. Who has some tiny habits around carnivore? I want examples, please. It was easier to come up with some small habits about cleaning my apartment. Ideas, tiny habits around carnivore, Scott?
Tiny habits around carnivore. Eat at a regular time. Have your meals scheduled. Eat breakfast this time, eat dinner at this time. And then also have food preparation so that if you have like lunch at this time, you have to go to work and this is always your lunch, you always have food available so that you're not having this gap of like I'm starving and then on the way home you're going to eat some carbs because it's quick.
I have a few. In the book he calls it super fridge. They put vegetables and stuff in there, but it is making sure your refrigerator is stocked with food, specifically carnivore food. Things like having, if you eat eggs, hard-boiled eggs, deviled eggs, having meat sticks, having, if you're doing cheeses available, having foods you can instantly quickly grab. It takes the options away from like, hey, I'll just go buy something because I'm hungry. Well, no, you've got food in the refrigerator. What else? Things like a habit would be not having the food in your house, the way you grocery shop. Like Jan was talking about, not the ice cream thing. You shouldn't have to go down those aisles. So making a habit of you just go to the meat section or plan out, like, let's say you need to get toilet paper, but like weirdly enough, to get to our meat section, you have to go through the bakery or you have to go through alcohol. It's in the back corner. You have to go through either of those to get to it. I just walk through the alcohol because I don't care about it. But having habits like that around it.
I think another really good habit is to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are doing an event with some friends, like making sure you're not starving when you get to the event. If you're going to go and you're like, okay, I'm going to look at the menu, know what you need beforehand, so you don't see all the other stuff. Know what you're going to have for dinner. Like one of the first things I ask a man in the morning, we have some coffee, we talk. What do you want for dinner tonight? I pull it out of the freezer.
To thaw the meat.
Thaw for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's knowing what you're going to eat removes all of that kind of, what am I going to eat? I'm so hungry. I'm going to go stop by Wendy's.
What, you didn't get that far in the book. There is a part the book talks about decision fatigue. How many times, like at lunch, I use lunch because work is probably the easiest way to this to happen. You're hungry, you're tired, you're feeling stressed. You didn't pack lunch. You probably should eat something healthy, but then it's like, well, I have option A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then all of a sudden you realize you've come back and you ate pizza. Having so many options and being at a very low peak of energy, it is very easy to get back into those habits that lead us to paths we don't want to go. So set plans ahead of time. Like that is such a good thing. But I will also say it doesn't actually have to be around carnivore to have an impact on carnivore. Doing the small tasks around your apartment, around work, getting the stress out of the head, it makes us feel better about ourselves, makes us feel more productive. So then when you get faced with these decisions, it's easier to be like, you know what? I see myself as a healthy person. I see myself as a productive person. Would a healthy, productive person go and eat pizza instead of eating some chuck roast? Nah, I'm gonna eat the chuck roast. The more we believe in ourselves, it gets easier and easier. We get more inspired by ourselves to make better choices to go and become the people we want to become. Anything else to that?
I think that's about it. That's a good start for good carnivore habits.
Yeah. Thomas, Friday had a cinnamon roll. It was amazing how I felt the whole day. Like crap, 6 Tums later. Yep. I told Scott, like, it's amazing. I was thinking about all the bad things I used to eat. Like, I would feel bad from it. But I must have been in such a bad state that eating something like that only made me feel a little bit worse. But I lived in this pit of pain and suffering that I didn't even realize it. But now doing carnivore and then having a thing off, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So hopefully it's Sunday. You're feeling a little bit better, Thomas. I do hope so. One thing that helped a lot was a egg placement. In Europe, we don't keep eggs in the fridge. I keep forgetting they existed. Now they live in the stove. See them all the time. Perfect. That is, the book also talks about, Atomic Habit talks about this too, of the environment. What did they say? Creating or designing your environment. So things like you forgetting the eggs, putting them somewhere you'll see them. Things like that. And that's why I always stress, if you have other people doing non-carnivore in the house, put the stuff in a cabinet, out of sight, out of mind.
No, go on.
Bra basics. What was your worst binge before carnivore? I mean, it lasted probably like an entire week, but I would literally eat myself till I would try to make myself vomit. I felt so bad. Like volume of food, I would eat probably a pint of ice cream, half a large pizza, and that would probably be all in one sitting. And then like later in that day, I might have like this dog might have like a venti caramel frappuccino from Starbucks, 2 sandwiches, and a piece of bread. Like that would be a day's worth of food. But I would get so sick and like full, I would try to make myself vomit, but I have a terrible gag reflex, and I would try to vomit so hard it would actually break all the blood vessels in my eyelids and stuff, and so it looked like someone punched me in the face. Thank God, no more of that. Spirit, I agree with food prep, with food prepared. It's hard for me mentally to break the snack habit, preparing for cravings. Yeah, okay, perfect. The salt, that is so good for cravings because it gives you something like that oral motor fixation with the salt lick. Like, it's a big thing with people who stop smoking. They end up gaining a lot of weight normally because it's that hand to mouth, even though it's usually this symbol, or they replace it with this with food. So that's why the salt rock is super helpful for that.
Charcuterie board sounds great.
Yeah. I've been lean my whole life. I do carnivore for digestion, but as soon as I touch bread or cookies, I go on a serious bender. Yeah. Scott, he's been slender. He was like 130 pounds when he was in the Navy. Like he's been slender. He's never been obese. As he's gotten a little bit older, he gained a little bit of weight, but he's probably right there with you. He could eat an entire box of, what are they called? The Nutty Buddies? Nutty Buddies himself. So you don't have to be
like a 12-pack giant box.
I mean, it'd take you all day, but yeah, you don't have to have been obese to experience what it's like to go on a bender. So
this brings up something for me I want to mention. Just because someone might be thin or slender or not have a lot of extra weight to lose does not mean that they are metabolically healthy. For me, my motivation is I want to be healthy, lose some extra weight I've had. But more than that, I want to have all my marbles when I have grandkids.
I want him to have all his marbles.
Yeah, I'm starting really late in life as far as kids go. And, you know, God, like all the guys from the Bible, like they had kids at like 120 or something. They lived in 900 years. I'm starting pretty late. But the more carbs that I have now will affect me decades from now. And I'd much rather learn to be healthy now with good habits and be around for Amanda for a long time.
Mary said she bulk cooks a variety of meats in the week. It's one big day. Yep. If you can do that, I think it's perfect. Like that's a really good way to do it. Scott and I have done prep cooking like before when we did Herbalife and all the other crazy diets that we did. However, I don't like older beef. The only older beef I can eat is chuck roast, a day old. It gets this weird taste for me. So we opt for quick, fast cooking. Steaks, chuck roast, flank rib, the easiest, quickest. Chicken wings, easiest, quickest, whatever.
And I'm a garbage disposal.
He eats the leftovers.
Anything left over, like I'll eat stuff that's 2 weeks old. And I can just, deal with it. We'll just pull out something fresh for Amanda and I just eat leftovers.
Yeah. I saved up for sturdy plastic rectangular bins for fridge and cupboards. It's so ergonomic for me, and that way, that's awesome. I mean, however it's going to work, make your environment work for you. It really is just such a big thing. Huge change for me was getting dishwasher safe vacuum food bags. No more environmental guilt about food prepping bags, and better prep for me. I'm curious, did you get the silicone ones? I eventually would like to get some of those. We still have the food saver ones, not the best, but you can get silicone bags specifically if you want to do things like sous videing. Perfect for that. Perfect for that. Speaking of which, y'all, so most of you know I've broken 3 crock pots. One of them I dropped in the sink and broke the stone part. This is years ago. The other 2, they cracked, and I actually don't know how they cracked. Most recently, our one, it started cracking right at the lip, and I could see it coming down. We got rid of it. We just replaced it with the Ninja. I don't know what it's called, something or rather, but I did a lot of looking, and it's made out of steel. The pot is. Y'all, I'm loving this thing. Mm-hmm. I just found it on Amazon and ordered it. Stop. Oh my goodness, stop.
Give me attention. You can go for exercise.
She's waiting for her dog run. Anyways, I love it. I used it in the chuck roast video. The one downside about it is because it's not stoneware, takes about 2 hours. So we do usually 9 to 10 hours on low on the regular crock pot to do the chuck roast. It's 8 hours on low, 2 hours on high to finish it just as well. And I think it just doesn't hold the heat as well as a stoneware one, but it's lighter. I don't have to worry about dropping it in the sink. I don't have to worry about it cracking. And the best part is this thing can sous vide. We have a big sous vide thing, but you can also use this thing to sous vide in. I'm like, so yesterday when we were cleaning out things, I discovered we have a meat grinder that goes to my mixer, we're going to try that out. But also I found I had a vegetable chopper, put that in the box and put it in the garage. Also had a juicer attachment that I've never used, put that in the garage. And we were cleaning out a lot of appliances. And we're also going to get rid of our Ninja air fryer crock
it's an
pot.
Instapot.
Well, it's not Instapot. It's not an Instapot. Instapot's a brand. But it's
but I mean essentially it's
like an 8-in-1
multi-use
unit.
You can do crock pot with it, you can sear, you can do rice cook, you can air fry, you can pressure cook, all kinds of stuff with it. We
never use it.
Need it. And honestly, this is what was really interesting about Carnivore. We went through when we were starting this like a year ago, and we cleaned out all these utensils that we just won't need anymore. We
had so many ladles and
the salad spinner, the lettuce cleaner. Just don't use it. Toaster, don't use it. There's just so many things that
he wouldn't let me get rid of the toaster. He may have me put it in the box and put it outside because someone might want toast. I really want to get rid of it. We donated our rice cooker yesterday. Mm-hmm. Just finding these little things here and there in the house still to get rid of. Fingers crossed for your... Oh, I hope they're feeling better. Ryu is doing not so hot herself with her neck. Ever since she had the cone of shame on for her abdominal wound, it has just absolutely tweaked her neck. If you've heard any panting, it's her laying behind me on the floor. And the good news is her abdominal wound is like 95% of the infection's gone. It's starting to granulate and it's still like yay big, but it's starting to fill in, which I'm hoping 2 weeks and it'll be closed. I'm really excited about that because she has to wear a shirt so she doesn't lick it because I can't put the cone on her anymore. At 2:00 this morning, she yipped in her pain with her neck. So I'm thinking about you and your doggo. I hope they do better. Suggestion, if your vet hasn't suggested it yet, Librela, and depending on your dog's age, Librela is something Ryu's taking. It did really well until she messed her neck up with the cone of shame. Is really good for dogs with arthritis and stuff like that. And they just, at least in the US, just approved it a few months ago. Word vendor recently discovered Jack's links, cold craft beer, and mild cheddar. Ooh, I haven't seen those, I don't think. I'm curious where you get those at. Can you comment on skin shrinkage on your large weight loss? I heard Doc talk about autophagy. So the skin has shrunk, but I'm going to be completely honest. Y'all get mad at me if you want about this, but this is my opinion. It's more about genetics. More than anything, it's going to be about genetics. I do not have a lot of collagen in my skin. I have tons of stretch marks everywhere, like across my chest. Literally, there's not a part of me that doesn't have stretch marks. My mom had a friend that she went from like 180 pounds all the way to 400 and then back down. She didn't have, and she showed me a single stretch mark. Single. And she didn't have all this loose skin, but she had a massive amount of collagen in her skin. Personally, I think it's going to be more based on genetics than autophagy. I will have to have mine cut off. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like here, like their skin's super loose and it is what it is. But I used to use that as a reason to not change the way I was eating because, like, all this loose skin and I'm going to have like a belly flap of skin. And if I do, oh well. It's a lot better to be healthy, feeling good, doing what I want versus where I was at 360 pounds, literally wanting to die every single day. Who cares about loose skin? Who cares if I have to use a stomach sucker to hold that in for the rest of my life if we can't afford surgery? Audrey, my go-to for work weekend and no prep is Tillamook mild cheddar cheese, 4 slices and 2 ounces of cheese. I ate this around 1 p.m. Then my husband has dinner ready. Yeah, you could do if you got high quality. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of processed meats, but you could do some cold cuts and stuff here and there if you needed something extra. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stoneware is very, very heavy, and I hate that I keep breaking them. So I'm excited to see, and hopefully this crock pot lasts more than just a couple years. Katie, love my meat grinder attachment. I'm curious, Katie, what do you use to make it? Like, are you making your own hamburger meat?
Your hamburger, you make your own sausages. Sounds good.
Been off Discord a few times, but never get a response.
Sorry. Like I said, I'm not really in Discord a whole lot.
Well, no, I'm curious TV on username, and sometimes I have had some people ask me questions that I literally don't have an answer for. But put a question in there. I will answer it today. You're so inspiring. Sorry, I'm talking about non-related things other than kitchen appliances. I also love that you're really, there is no like legit flow with what we're talking about. So don't even worry about it. Okay.
Dr. Mary's always like, it's medical questions. Can I eat this? Can I do this?
Yeah, but Dr. B is a doctor. So, we're going to jump around with what we talk about.
Jump around. This is why. And, we do talk about like the habits. That's one of the things because we want people to develop things that they can sustain.
Yeah.
We want you to have a healthy life.
Yeah. We just happen to be talking about appliances then.
Yeah.
One last question. How's the baby? Got to have at least one piece of baby news. Oh, he's doing so good. He's going through like these like growing and then he gets a little chunky for a week and then growing and getting chunky. He's doing so good. He's such a cute baby, y'all. I know he's my nephew, but he is the most adorable. I told my sister he took all the cuteness, so I'm going to have an ugly baby now thanks to her because her baby's so dang cute. He's so adorable, but he's doing excellent. He really is. Dear little boy. I miss him. Carney Chris. Yeah, she actually has an appointment Thursday. Because of the baby and stuff, she hasn't been in 2 months. I'm really hoping that the chiropractor can get her back in working order because I haven't been walking her except around our block when she had been making like a little bit more than a mile right before this all happened. Okay. I have a great chiropractor, but want to know what's going on with the neck after the MRI before letting the chiropractor adjust him. Yeah. Rio, actually, we had an MRI done, CT MRI done on her neck to discover it's just some arthritic buildup, but it was going to be best guess on what they could do to fix it. And at her age, it's just surgery would be too much for her. All right, y'all. Laurel. Okay, last one. I know y'all don't do leftovers, but I'm moving towards rib roast. So easy to eat cold. We'll pick up. Scott does leftovers.
I do lots of leftovers.
Amanda doesn't do leftovers.
She doesn't do leftovers.
Scott doesn't mind them.
Meat mush, which is I just chop up whatever's remaining into small bites. This way it's easy to chew. Glue it together
with eggs and cheese.
And then I eat that.
He'll eat that breakfast and dinner some days.
Could be some bacon in there, some ham, could be some old ground beef, could be some old steak they chop up, could be chicken wings that just tear apart and chop up that.
He literally uses whatever meat there is.
Whatever's there.
Reuses it. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. I will talk to you guys next Sunday. And remember, just do something new this week. Enjoy yourselves. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.